Howdy, hey, hello, it's McKenna, and this is Much and Mingle. If you are looking at your calendar, we are a little bit later in the week getting this episode out than what I normally do. So oh guys, it has been a whirlwind. So much, and we'll get into it. Also, I've got maybe about 20 minutes to record this because I was like, I have to get this episode out today or we're going to have to wait till next week. But it is such a great talk that we go through and really touches on what has been going on in mine and Britt's life the past 2 weeks that we're going to talk about today, that I was like, I can't wait any longer. But let's get into kind of what's been going on. Just so you know, in our personal life, we did our week-long staycation with Britt and the boys. Now, we had to change plans, and this plays into, obviously, I'm so grateful we changed plans because of what goes on to happen. We were supposed to be in California with some of my extended family for a week, and about 3 weeks before, or I guess technically, 4 weeks ago, I was getting the feeling like, oh, I don't know if we're going to make it. Like, maybe we need to stay home. And I was talking with Britt about it. And the first thought was, I can't make this 12-hour car trip. I mean, 12 hours, great. Like, that's generous. But with 3 kids and being pregnant, I was like, it could turn into a 24-hour road trip at this point. And I just kept getting the feeling like, I'm like, oh gosh, this might not be worth it. And I get so sad because this trip, we go to Newport, and I love this trip. We've been going since I was, the summer before I got into 7th grade. So it is a highlight of my life. And we love it. We really do. But just the more we thought about it, we're like, maybe this isn't the year. So we decided, no, we're going to stay home. But we still had the time off. And decided, you know what, let's do a staycation. We're going to be here. We might as well still do something so that I'm not completely just depressed all week when I know that there's family in California. We could be there. And it was so great. It was perfect. I highly recommend it. If you have little kids and you can't make the long road trips, do a staycation. We just basically made a list of things that we've wanted to do or aren't able to do unless Britt's there with us. And did them. We had some little road trips like to Logan or Richfield and Beaver. Great places, actually. And it was great. It was so much fun. And the best part, we got to come home every day and still keep the boys on their normal bed routine, which, as all you parents out there who have had or have little kids know, that is a blessing on a vacation. But yeah, we had some hiccups leading to this staycation, as well as happening during the staycation and continuing on into this week after. So again, that's why we kind of got a little delay. There's been a lot going on, but here we are. And as I said earlier, this talk was everything that Britt and I needed to hear. So first, let's take a deeper look at who our speaker is. His name is Dave J. Did we know his middle name? Nope. Dave J. Wunderli. And I hope I'm saying that last name right. But he grew up in Holiday, Utah. He was the third of 5 children and had what he described as a sandlot childhood. He said that him and his siblings would just play with kids throughout the neighborhood every day until the streetlights would come on, and he just had great, good, godly parents and influences around him. There is in this bio, and I'll link it below, a whole section titled Marry a Good Person that obviously talks about him and his wife's story. And as we know, I love. So I loved this. What really struck me through the story of how him and his wife met was that she first found Dave, her husband, soon to be husband, cute, when they met as teenagers after she moved from Canada into his ward. But what impressed her so much more was his family. And she said, I might have fallen in love with the love and light that his family had and then fell in love with Dave, which honestly, I guess isn't a bad thing. You marry the family, right? But I agree with her because one of those things I always say that I'm so grateful for is when Britt and I started dating, we dated, oh gosh, do we agree on 3 months, Britt? Is that what we've established? It's about 3 months before he left on his mission. And so then for 2 years, I was able to get to know and build my own relationship with his family and the members in his family while he was serving. And that solidified in me who Britt was, because I got to envision and see who he was going to be as a future husband and father because I saw the family and life he was growing up in. Obviously, I don't think that was the same story with the Wunderlis, but she still noted like she was able to be impressed by his family. And that's kind of what like led her to, wait, I want to be with this guy because of that. And I'm like, yes, preach, girl, preach. So just a little tidbit out there for y'all when you're dating. If any of you out here that are listening to Much and Mingle are dating, get to know the family. Let them tell you who your future spouse can be. And I also say that with a caveat because there are some people out there who might say I have crazy family. I have a family who maybe you're the only member in the church from your family. Like, I get that. Again, I understand that so deeply. But I think you can still see good patterns or pick up on those. And coming from, as a kid of divorced parents, I don't believe that makes, how do I say this? Just because my parents were divorced doesn't mean that's the first thing I'm going to go to when my life gets hard. I actually think it's the opposite. It's like I almost got a perfect guide of what not to do to make sure that my marriage is better, or to make sure that I picked well so that it was like, okay, I know what not to do. Sorry. Just a little tangent there. Going back to the bio, one of my most favorite quotes it was actually from Sister Wunderli, and she said, "Marriage isn't hard. It's life that's hard. If you marry a good person, you can navigate through those hard things. And we have been blessed to be happy and united." And I'm just like, yes, so good. Oh, just, that is it. That's it. That's exactly what I was trying to say. So thank you, Sister Wunderli. Okay, so once they got married, Brother Wunderli went on to receive his bachelor's degree in accounting at the U, and then also minored in Portuguese due to his mission in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And they ultimately then raised their 4 kids in California. Also, I thought that was kind of a cool thing because, I don't know, sometimes I do get intimidated with the general authorities that are like, oh yeah, and then they went on to get their masters and do this and this. And all I could find on Brother Wunderli, that was it. That was his only thing in education. He got his bachelor's in accounting, minored in Portuguese. Done. So just to any of the men out there that maybe think like, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z, or have to get so much more education. No. I mean, be purposeful in what you're doing, but don't think that's the end all be all for the Lord to use you in his kingdom. Just a thought. Now, it comments a lot on their service in the church, and it's kind of hilarious, but such a cool little way to like, oh, interesting how they framed this. Basically, since being married, their callings have been revolved around the youth, but in a funny way that they're like, we moved backwards in each calling. So what that means is first they were called into YSA. Brother Wunderli was called as a YSA bishop, and then went on to also be a stake president and institute teacher. And she was YSA Stake Relief Society president. So in these callings, they saw a lot of returning missionaries. Then they get called as mission leaders in the, I hope I say this right, Priya, Cape Verde mission, where they then were able to go share their experiences that they witnessed and learned in YSA. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Oh, I had my notes and then it just jumped down. Where are we? Come on. There we go. Sorry. That they witnessed and learned from all their YSA to all their missionaries and what they were going to face, like going home, and can prepare them for those challenges. After they returned home as mission leaders, they then were called to serve in the Provo MTC, where then they were like, well, now we get to go help all the pre-missionaries to see and know what they would face on their missions because we were just in it. And then finally, they were both called into general council boards. So Brother Wunderli was called to the Young Men's General Advisory Council, and Sister Wunderli was called to the Primary General Advisory Board. And the more I think about it, I'm like, that is so incredible. And knowing that now, going over Brother Wunderli's talk, while yes, of course, directed to the youth because he currently is serving or in the Young Men's General Presidency, it really does speak to all of us because we all have been in primary. We all started as kids. We've moved up to youth, and then we went to young adulthood, and the lesson is still the same even as we are in adulthood, no matter actually wherever we are. His talk is just, it's perfect. It's perfect for all avenues of life. Now, this talk is titled, Jesus Christ is not our burden, he is our relief. And if you are receiving weekly emails from the church for Come Follow Me, you would see they also referenced this talk, like a quote from it this week. And tell me that is not a coincidence. That was just, I actually screenshotted it to Britt and I sent it to him on Monday. I was like, the Lord sees us. He is there. So I decided let's just get into what happened with us. It's actually funny. I was going to talk about it on last week's podcast episode. But as I was recording, I kind of got the feeling like, no, red light, wait, it's not flowing. It's not working. And then a couple days later, everything happens. And this talk comes along and I'm like, whoa, feeling the green light. So about 2 weeks ago, we had an issue with one of our cars, and we had this ongoing problem with the lock, or like because we have an old car. So we don't have like a key fob or anything. We have just the manual keys to lock and unlock our doors when we're getting back into the car. And there was a problem that we were like, the key kept getting kind of stuck or wouldn't turn to unlock our door. So for a while there, we're like, let's just not lock the door and then we'll go get it fixed. Probably not the best idea. And that meant every night it's like, hey, make sure there's nothing in this car and hopefully no one steals this car tonight. I was at the store, I was at Costco, and just not even thinking. It was just me, thankfully, muscle memory. I locked the door, went in, go shopping, come back out to the van and realize, oh no, I locked the door. So I was like, okay, it had happened before where you just kind of have to sit there almost for like 3 to 5 minutes, just putting the key in and out and trying to like wiggle it and turn it and see that it would get unlocked. Well, I got it to turn, but I turned it left, which is to lock it. And I was like, okay, be so careful, because that usually means I could turn it back and get it to turn then to the middle and then get it to turn back right to unlock it. I don't know what happened in this moment. It just jammed. It became sword in the stone. Did not move at all. And I just panicked. I was like, what do I do? I'm here. I'm at the Spanish Fork Costco. I've got yogurt in the grocery cart. It's hot. What do I do? So I called Britt and I'm just like, I'm so dumb. What was I thinking? And now it's like stuck. What do we do? And our van is so old. It only has one keyhole on the driver's side. There's none on the passenger side. There's none on the trunk, nothing. So I'm like, even though we had a spare at home, it's like I couldn't do anything with it. So I was like, I guess I'm going to have to call a locksmith. And I've never had to look for a locksmith. And I'd like to think I'm pretty advanced in knowing when I do my Google searches, like I'm going past the sponsored ads. I'm looking for what I see as reliable as can be. And I'm just finding like mobile locksmiths. I'm not seeing anything local. And I'm like, what in the world? So I find one and the guy's like, yep, I can be out there probably in like 25 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So I just go push my cart to the front of Costco and just sit on one of the little cement, little pillar seats, whatever you guys know that you see outside Costco, and just waited. He got there 45 minutes later. We get out to the car and he sees it and he's like, okay, so I'm going to have to, I can't even remember what he said. Whatever he said he was going to have to do, I was like, do this or I have to take off the door. And it was like a astronomical price quote. And I just kind of looked at him. I was like, what? Because I had even asked, are you going to, like, what is this price going to be before you come out there? And they're like, well, we can't tell you till we diagnose it when we get there. And I was like, okay, I guess that sounds legit. So the more we tried to talk about it, I was like, you know what? I can't pay that. That's wild to me. I just need you to take the key out of this keyhole. And if you could just even open the door, actually, even if it's the other door, I've got a spare key at home. My husband can figure out a way to get it to me. And it wasn't just working. Like, there was the communication. He kept saying, no, you're not understanding me. But I'm like, no, I'm understanding that I don't want to pay what you're asking. So then he's like, let me go see if I can get a discount. So I'm just kind of waiting. I'm like, I'm going to go look for another guy or another locksmith, see if he's actually quoting what might be normal. Get a hold of another locksmith. Same kind of like, we'll send a guy out. And the guy on the phone was like, no, that's way too much. We could do it way less than that. And just to get your door open. I was like, okay. So I come back to the guy and I said, you know what? You're totally fine. I've got another person who can come out. I just can't do that price. And he's like, well, I could discount it to this and whatnot. And it was still like, no, it's not. We're not jiving. And I was like, you're good to go. And he started getting like aggressive and mean. And I was like, what is happening here? Like, we're good. You're fine. You can go. And I started getting nervous because then he wasn't leaving. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? I guess I could just walk back into the Costco like, nope, we're done. Have a good day. But then I'm like, well, wait, my keys are here. And he was like messing with it. So I was like, can I just leave it? What if he gets the key out? And what happens with my car? What if he takes the key? I don't know. Because he was being really weird. All of a sudden I go to the back of my car and I see this couple getting into their car on the other side of me. And I just had this like split moment, like, you need to go ask them for help. Just an older couple. And I go over and I said, hi, I'm so sorry. Could you not leave yet? Because they were getting in their car to leave. And they kind of looked at me like, what? I'm like, I just explained the situation. I'm like, I'm just feeling really uncomfortable. And he's getting more aggressive and he's not leaving. And it was just a husband and wife who probably my parents' age. And so the wife was talking with me and the husband goes to talk to this guy. And 45 seconds later, he like peels out, leaves. And so the husband comes back and talks to us and he goes, yeah, he was a pretty scammy dude. I was asking him for information and he was getting mad about like, nope, I need to get paid. And the husband, so nice, like, okay, for sure. Let me see your services. Let me talk to your manager. Who do we need to talk to about this? And got mad and left. And I just started crying. Could be because it was pregnancy hormones 100%. Could just be that I was like, I feel so dumb. And now here we are. I don't know. They then are like, we're going to take you home. And I was like, no, you guys, I'm fine. I live in Springville. I can find a ride. And they're like, we live in Springville. We're taking you home. So shout out to John and Shannon Russell. You guys were so great. They took me home and we ended up finding a local locksmith, which again, so hard to do. He later came out that night. Britt went and met with him. They got the door open, but we're like, look, you're going to have to fix this key hole or whatever. We're like, okay, we'll do that. We've got this vacation coming up. We'll just make sure we don't lock the door. Guys, was it a day later, Britt? I can't even remember. A day or two later, I get in the van to go to a doctor's appointment. Yes, it must have been 2 days later because then we were starting our vacation and the key won't turn in the ignition. And I kind of thought, oh, it's because the wheel is locked, right? So I try to move the wheel. Nope, doesn't move. I try to move the gear shifter, doesn't move. And I was like, what is happening? This has never happened before. I go get Britt and I said, hey, can you come unlock the wheel? Like, it's stuck. He goes in there and he can't get it, which my first red alert, like, if he can't get this, like, uh-oh. And I was like, you know what? I'm late for the appointment. I'll just take your car. So I go to my doctor's appointment. And as I'm getting out of the appointment, Britt calls me and he's just like, you're never going to believe this. And I was like, what? He's like, it's not moving. Like, something's wrong with our key ignition. And I'm like, you're joking me. We are about to start our vacation and we can't start our van. What are we doing? Thank heavens, because we met this other local locksmith guy from Payson, the guy who eventually came out to Costco. We knew we had someone. So we called them and they're like, hey, we could probably get out there, the next day. But that was going to delay us doing our certain whatever activity we had planned for the start of our staycation. But we're like, it's fine. We have to do it. So it's kind of just one of those moments like, geez, wow, back to back. That stinks. And okay, there's money we've got to drop down on this. Then as we're waiting, so that next day comes and we're like, hey, we're going to have to wait till the afternoon when that locksmith can come to our house to fix the van. So I've got to go run and get groceries for the week. I'll take your car, Britt. And Britt just took the kids on a walk and I just went to the Smiths down the road. I'm getting out to the car. And Britt's car is lovely 95 Ford Aspire. If you know what it is, you probably don't. Go look it up. It's a beater car. And same thing, just have a manual key to unlock it. And I'm grabbing groceries. And then I look in his trunk, which is a hatchback. And I was like, shoot, I've got to move that stuff because I've got to go pick up groceries at Walmart too. And they'll just put it in the trunk. I go to put the key in the keyhole in the trunk, turn it, and y'all, it split in half. I am not joking. The key itself split in half. Half the key got stuck in the keyhole. The other half, I'm like looking at in my hand. And I drop to the ground in the Smith's parking lot and I start crying. I'm like, what? This isn't real. This cannot be happening right now. I call Britt and I'm crying. He thinks something's wrong with the baby because, again, PTSD. And anytime I call him now when I'm crying, he's just like, is everything okay with you and the baby? And I'm like, it's fine. It's your car. And so I explained to him and he's even like, what? Like, what do you mean it broke in half? I'm like, I have 2 pieces of a key, Britt. And we're just like, what do we do? So I reach out to some of the ladies in my primary presidency. I was like, is anyone home? Can you come pick me and my groceries up? Because we're going to get the van soon. So then I was like, we just need to get another key for this. But I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what is happening? What is the deeper message in all these keys issues? My secretary comes and picks me up. She takes me home. Thank you, Sister Webb. Love you so much. And so I get home and I'm just like, what is this? Like, what is actually happening right now? Heavenly Father, are you trying to get our attention? I'm pretty sure you had it, but why is this becoming kind of a thing? And so Britt and I are like, things come in threes. Okay, like we hit it. We're good. The locksmith comes, gets the van fixed. He then says, yep, we can go get you some spares made of your van and for your Ford. So then we realized we still needed to get our door fixed from the original first thing. And we're like, we're going to go on vacation, so we've got to bring that over. And so Britt brought the van over the next day and stayed out in Payson. Shout out Payson. Oh my gosh, what are they called? Lock and Key. They're great. If you're in the area, definitely go to them. So he brought the van out to them just to save on costs and got the keys made and stayed in Payson for a couple hours, got it done. We were set. That night, you guys, I'm not making this up. We go to the park as a family. It's a great time. We are loving life. It's time to go. I say, I'll go start the van so we can get it cooling down because it's pretty hot outside, summer. I turn it on. Everything's working. And I sit there for a second as I'm watching Britt and the boys head over. And I'm noticing, wait a minute. Why is this air not getting cool? And I kind of look. I'm like, everything's on low. AC's on. What the heck? I kind of move it around. And I'm like, something's not right. And it hits me. Oh, no. I think our AC just went out. I hope one of you out there is screaming because I literally am like screaming inside. And I am just like, what? We just got this fixed last summer. Like to the date, actually, which we looked, it was actually 2 days off of the exact year. And so I'm like, no. no. And so we're driving home and I'm panicking. Like I can feel it. Just it's just hot air. And I'm like, what do we do? So then I have to go through, because when we did get it fixed, it was like a one-off time at a different shop that we don't go to. Have to figure out, can't remember the name. For an hour, I'm like going through our bank account, trying to like look back a year ago. Finally found the automated auto shop. And we're like into our staycation. And we are supposed to be going to Richfield at this point. Thank heavens, 2 weeks before the staycation, I had the thought we should rent a car because our van is getting old. I was like, I don't like the idea of taking a car that long of a road trip, long in the day, middle of the day. Let's just be safe and rent a car. Thank heavens that was the spirit talking, or just good intentions, whatever we're going to call it. So we had a rental and I called the shop and I said, hey, we need you guys to look at this. Check what's going on. We're going to have a rental for the day. And he's like, well, we can't look at it tomorrow, but we could look at it the next day. And at that point, I'm like, well, yeah, you guys did it. I need you guys to fix it. So we ended up extending our rental into 2 days. And we go take the van in. Of course, it's not the part that they fixed, which I have my own problems with that. And they're like, it's going to be another X amount of dollars to fix this. What do? You're like, this is our main family car. Yep, I guess we have to fix it. And they ended up taking longer, so we had to extend the rental another day. And it was just like, okay, I am officially done with car issues. The worst part is when we had to give the rental back to get our old van, our boys started crying because they loved the rental van. They're like, Mom, we want this van. We don't want the old van. And at that point, I was like, I'm crying with it all too. I don't want to deal with the old van either. I don't want to deal with any more car issues. I can't do it. But alas, we gave it back. We got our old van. Fast forward to, so that was the end of last week. I think we got the van back on Friday. Monday morning comes, as in like 2 days ago, Monday. And Britt leaves early for work. It's his day. He's back at work after being off for about a week. And he leaves around 4 a.m. And he called me, which I missed, but because I was half asleep. But then I heard the text tone come through. And that kind of, for some reason, woke me up. So I go to look at the phone and I have this long text from Britton. And all it says at the beginning is, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, what? He's included 3 pictures. And Britt's car, his Ford Aspire, I don't even know how to say it. It's basically pancaked, is smashed. And he forgot his lunch and he had just gotten on the freeway. So he was like, the next exit is right there. I could just hurry, turn around and go get it. Because of everything that just happened with our cars, we're like, we've got to save money. So in his head, he's like, I got to just go home and get it. It was right there. I have it ready. Gets off this exit that we've never gotten off before. No lights, no signs, nothing. And a curve comes up. And because he's in, again, that beautiful 95 Ford Aspire, he's like, maybe my headlights just weren't bright enough. But all of a sudden it curves. And he wasn't expecting it, going 60 miles per hour, hits the dirt on the left side of that curve, overcorrects, and it ends up sending him over into the cement barrier on the right side, totally head on in his car. Thank the Lord, Britton is fine. He walked away with literally like scratch on his knee, broke his keychains, but no airbags went off. Didn't hit his head. There were no cars behind him because he was like, it went sideways. So he was like horizontal in the off ramp and his car had turned off. So he just kind of was like stunned. He's never gotten in a car accident before. And it was just like, what just happened? Thankfully, he was able to get his car back on and it was working and he could drive. So he backs up and pulls off the off ramp because he's like, if a car's coming, they're going to hit me. Like, you're not going to see me till the last second because it's right around when the curve hits. Pulls over, and that's when he was trying to call me and text me. And so I call him, and as anyone would, he was just like, I don't know what to say, and I can't do this anymore. After everything that just happened, and now I'm pretty sure I just totaled our second car. And both of us are just like, what else, Heavenly Father, at this point is going to happen? Because it's not even like, okay, are we done? It's what else? Something else is going to happen, isn't it? So he gets home. We go get the car checked out. He obviously didn't go to work that day. We took it into a shop and they're like, you guys, it's totaled. Like, to fix this, you're better off to just go buy another car. So that's where we are currently. And I just want to point this. So again, when I say Monday, Monday was the day that this talk got sent out. It means so much to me. And I'm getting all emotional now because we're still, we have to figure out the second car situation. And bless Britton's family. Britton biked to the train station yesterday. And then his brother was like, here, borrow my car for the week. And we're starting to look at other cars, whatever. We'll get that figured out. But it was just, I wanted to build this moment up. And I hope you can feel like I might be laughing a little bit about it now. There were days when those things were happening. I couldn't even talk about it. I couldn't even bring it up because I would just start crying. And then, Britt and I have cried multiple times in the past 2 weeks. Like, what else? Because we are just trying to get by. We're trying to figure out. We're trying to get ready to have this baby. And what are we doing? And these car things keep happening that are like astronomical, that it's just like, this is not real. So getting over this talk, it was like Brother Wunderli knew that these past 2 weeks were going to happen to Britt and I, and that we needed his remarks in his talk. And I hope wherever you are right now in your life or whatever you come across soon, later, whatnot, that you will have this talk in your back pocket for those hard moments, because truly this is what has like anchored me after all this. So in the beginning of his talk, Brother Wunderli tells a story about his son. They decided to take a family hike. This was a while ago. And their 6-year-old son at the time had received a picture of Jesus Christ from primary and was just like carrying it everywhere. Did not let go of this picture. When they go on a hike, his son brought a backpack, and that was the only thing he put in there was this picture of Christ. As they were on the hike, his son was finding all these cool rocks, and he's like, Dad, can I bring these home? And his dad was like, sure, go ahead, but you're going to have to carry them home yourself. So he agreed, and he started filling up his backpack. And Brother Wunderli said he watched as he put all the rocks in his backpack and then put the picture of Jesus Christ on top, zipped up his backpack, and then took 1 step forward and 5 steps back. So he reassessed and was like trying to take out some rocks and try again, but it was still too heavy. And so Brother Wunderli said, I realized there might be a lesson to be taught here. So he lightheartedly suggested to his son, you know what, maybe you should remove this picture of Jesus. That should lighten your load, right? And Brother Wunderli says, I will never forget the hurt look on my son's face. It seemed to say, Dad, you really want me to take Jesus out of my backpack and leave him behind? And then his look changed to, Dad, you're not as smart as I thought you were. This is the premise of the talk. This is basically what Brother Wunderli is trying to get us to see, that it is never going to be easier to remove Jesus, to remove the Savior from our lives, especially when these trials hit. So I'm just going to read the parts that I highlighted, and maybe you can see why these parts stuck out to me after hearing what we kind of just went through. We need to know that rocks are going to be found along our way, and they will begin to collect in our backpack. Some by choice and some by the very nature of our journey in this life. As the weight increases, please remember that taking Jesus Christ out of your life is not the answer. Removing him will not lighten your load. The enemy of happiness wants to separate you from Jesus Christ. He will tempt you to remove the Savior from your life, enticing you to think that the road would be easier without him, that the weight of his commandments is too great, that the path back is too long, that repentance is too hard. Know this, Satan is a liar. Jesus Christ is not the weight. He is the relief. Each morning as you begin your daily walk, please make sure that Jesus Christ is with you. Then as you face opposing forces aimed at separating you from him, your confidence and resolve will be anchored to his truth, to his wisdom, and to him who is all-knowing. Jesus Christ is the way. May we together continue to walk with Jesus Christ, even in our most difficult moments, when we question our worth, doubt our capabilities, or question our faith, when we feel that we are alone, when the weight of life's challenges send us backward. May we hold strong to our resolve to keep him with us. Let us allow the Savior to ease our burdens. Allow him to help remove the rocks of addiction and the weight of our sorrows. Let him contend with those who would contend with you or with us. Let him cleanse us from our sins again and again, and yes, even again. Let him move the mountains before us and change the course of the powerful rivers in our lives that carry us away from him. Jesus Christ is not the weight. He is our relief. He is our strength. He is the way. I add my testimony to all that Brother Wunderli has said, and I know it to be true. I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.